Hi there. Welcome to part 2 of A Call to Service, the healer's role in the new paradigm. I'm glad you're here. This is part of a series that I do, and the topic is healers and healing. And so if you're here and just showing up, give me a little sign that you're here. Let me know where you're from. How are you feeling today? How's your day going? Did you get a chance to see part 1? If not, there's a replay available. Just let me know you're here. Say hello. And you can do the same if you're watching the recording. I know a lot of you are watching the recording. So, hey, Denise. Hello. Sarah, how are you? Good to see you. So, this is part 2 of A Call to Service, a healer's role in the new paradigm. And I really appreciate your commitment to yourself. I appreciate your showing up. If you're here, whether you're here live or for the recording, you are ready to expand something inside of you. And if you are here for part 1 and have questions, I am happy to answer them at the end. Hey there, Lori. Hey, Eleanor. Good to see you. Thanks for letting me know you're here. So yesterday in part 1, not yesterday, the day before, I covered what it means to be a healer, whether you identify with that word or use a different one, like energy worker or healing arts practitioner. It's all the same work. I covered what it means to be a healer, and I also covered 3 signs that you should be helping others. And I created this because the heart of humanity is calling us. It's calling us. And if you're here, then you are probably hearing that call, just like I am. I want to help you to listen to it and to act on it. We need you. We need you to activate that fire inside of you so that you can step in and be of service. Step in, activated, and bring your work into the world, or expand your work into the world. Move out of your doubt and your fear so you can be and work and serve your soul's purpose. So today I'm going to teach you signs that you should not be helping others. And I'm going to tell you the number 1 sign that you should not be helping others. And then I'm going to give you concrete steps for taking healing work into the world. At the end, I'm going to tell you about a healing catalyst for healers who are ready to respond to the call. And I'll also take questions. So if that's you, make sure that you stay with us. This training will be about 30 minutes. I try to keep the timing so that they're easy to watch and not too long. So it should be about 30 minutes. So if I don't know you or you don't know me, welcome. I am Brighid Murphy. I am a modern shamanic practitioner. I'm an empowerment leader, and I help healers and next generation leaders to activate that fire I was just talking about so that they can expand their service in the world. And so I want to just warn you that whenever I do these trainings, a shift happens. So be prepared to feel a shift within you, a surge of energy, either while we're here together live or over the next 24 hours in your life. That's just what happens when we come together and healing energy moves through. So I really want to remind you of what you're here to do. I want to offer tools that help you to do what you're here to do. And as I mentioned in part 1, I received my invitation from Spirit when I was young. I met my teachers over 20 years ago, and I have been saying yes, sometimes reluctantly. I'm not going to lie. I'll never lie. Sometimes reluctantly, I've said yes, but I keep saying yes to walking this healing path. It's something that just continues to happen. And if you're ready to say yes, then stay tuned, because I have something I want to tell you about at the end. And so as we begin here, I want you to get rid of your distractions. Put your multitasking down. And if you can't, then come back when you can. I want you to be able to be present, because we're going to begin to open something up inside of you, and I need all of you here in the present to do that. So get present and take a few deep breaths. You can close or lower your eyes. Breathe in and out. Send your energy down into the earth and begin to come into your center. Wherever you find your attention, when I say find your center. Yep, that's it. Bring the energy in. Bring your focus into your heart and into your center. And I want you to imagine for a moment that you are living your life completely activated. You have found the fire within you to do what you're here to do. I want you to see yourself in that place. See yourself activated. See yourself doing healing work, helping others, living the way that you want to be living. And then take a deep breath. Bring your focus back to your heart. And then open your eyes. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is how to know if you're not ready to help others. And I'm also going to give you the number one reason that you shouldn't be helping others. And then second, I'm going to give you 5 concrete steps for taking your work into the world. So let's dive in. Yesterday, I talked about how to know if you should be helping others. If you want to find that replay, #healers, #healing, it'll show up in this group. It'll be here for the next couple of days. Now I want to talk about why you shouldn't be, or how you should know you shouldn't be working with others. First thing is, if you have no idea how to manage your energy, you can't ground yourself, you can't find your center, you're all over the place. If you can't ground yourself and you have no plan for or desire to learn how to do that, you cannot help others. You should not be helping others. You need to be coming from a centered place. You don't have to be centered all the time, but you cannot be all over the place the majority of the time with no plan to learn how to be grounded and help others. The second thing is, the second reason you should not be helping others is if you need to constantly offer suggestions or try to fix other people. If you can't stop trying to help, you're not actually helping. So if you can't stop talking and offering people suggestions, you're not really going to be able to help them. This and healing work is not about you. It's not about you. It's about the space that you hold for another person, and you cannot hold space for someone if you're filling it constantly. So that's a second reason you should not be helping others. Third is, if you want to constantly interpret lots of signs and meanings for another person. When you are constantly interpreting signs and meanings of what they see and experience, you're taking from them the learning that they receive when they get it on their own. A healer helps a person to interpret their own signs. A healer does not have someone dependent upon them to read their signs. If you're reading signs all the time, that's all you're doing is interpreting other people's signs. You're more of a reader than you are a healer, or you're doing more reading than you are healing work. And that provides a quick rush and some excitement. And people get real jazzed up about it. But it doesn't create a lasting effect at all if someone is just having signs interpreted for them. So that's the third piece. Fourth reason that you should not be helping other people is if you have an active untreated addiction. I'm not talking about chocolate and coffee here, folks. Although, you know, if we're out of control with the chocolate and coffee, we want to work on that. But that's not what I'm talking about. If you're in an addiction, you cannot prioritize helping others. You just can't. You need to go get treatment and you need to get clean first before you help other people. And the fourth reason that you shouldn't be helping others is if you feel drained all the time. If you feel drained by other people's energy. If you feel like everybody is taking your energy, you shouldn't be helping other people. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't be able to help ever. It just means you're not ready. You need more training, more practice. You need to find a teacher. A lot of people come to me who are wanting to do healing work, wanting to help others, and they're feeling exhausted by everyone around them. The first thing we do is clean that up because that doesn't work. It doesn't work if you're going to help other people. So I want to pause here and ask you all if there's any other reasons that you can think of why someone should not be trying to help someone else or doing healing work. I know that there's more. Those are the main ones, and I'm going to give the number one reason in a minute, but I want to know if there's anything else that you can think of or that you've seen that doesn't work when someone is trying to help someone else. I'm going to give a moment for that because there's a lag and I want to hear what you have to say. Hey, Andrea, we're just talking about reasons why someone should not be helping other people. And I'll do a recap so you can catch up. But I'm asking folks right now if there's anything I left out, if there's anything that you would say, like, this is a reason why people should not be doing healing work or aren't ready to do healing work. Is a better way to put it. I'm going to wait a minute and see what y'all come up with. All right, someone said when ego is engaged. I want to know what that looks like. Can you tell me what that looks like? Because I want to dig into that, Lori. What does it look like when ego is engaged? Or should we say over-engaged? Because it's impossible to get rid of ego. We can't get rid of that. It's part of being human. Someone else said, when you help out of obligation and not from your heart. Ooh, yeah, that's good. That is definitely good. When you help out of obligation and not from your heart. If you feel obligated to help other people, then you're not going to be able to sustain the energy that you need in order to keep helping. So getting into a right relationship with your helping is important. Something that I would love to talk more about, but that's awesome. Thank you, Eleanor. Yeah. Lori, when it makes you feel special over others. Okay, thank you for clarifying. So when it makes you feel special over others. Yeah, when you are feeling like you are so wonderful and much more important than other people because you do healing work. Yeah, that's definitely a sign that you maybe should not be doing healing work at this time. Thank you, Lori. I totally resonate with that. Suzanne said a life crisis may require time out. Yes, a life crisis could definitely require some time out. Doesn't mean that you have to have time out forever, but you can't manage multiple things at a time. Times when I've had great stress or big shifts have happened, I take a break and I take a step back from the work that I do. I don't leave it. I don't walk away from it because it's impossible for me to do that, but I do take a step back. Thank you, Suzanne. I'm just reading the comment. Someone said that when they were overcome with grief, they were no good to anyone at that time. Yes, exactly. When you're having a personal crisis, which being deep grieving is a personal crisis, you're most likely not in a place to be helping others. These are really good reasons. And then Lori added one, Lori, that's good. She said a reason that you shouldn't be helping other people is when you feel like you're the only one who can help. That is really, really good. When you feel like you're the only one that can help, that is, that's a sign that you're not in a great relationship with the healing work. Thank you so much, everyone. Perfect. You guys really brought it. I'm going to add this. I'm going to add your thoughts and your shares in here because it's important. So now I want to share the number one reason that you should not be trying to help other people. Number one reason, folks. And that is, if your soul doesn't feel called to help, if your soul is not telling you to serve, then you're going to have trouble. You're going to have trouble finding the right teacher. You're going to have trouble finding the right modality. Your soul is called to this kind of work, and you know it when your soul is called. If your soul is not called, then you shouldn't be doing it. That's number one reason. So I want to speak here because there's a difference between fear and your soul talking. When the fear talks, it holds you back. When your soul talks, it whispers to move forward. There's a difference. So if your soul is talking to you and telling you you should help other people, then you got to do it. If your soul is not talking to you, then you shouldn't be doing it, at least not at this time. Because if your soul isn't calling you, then you're not going to be able to commit to the work that you need to do for your own self-growth. Because contrary to popular belief, healers don't live an easy life. Healers have to take responsibility for their own stuff. And if you can't do that, you're not going to be able to maintain or sustain a healing practice. And just take a little side piece here. When it comes to making a living doing a healing work, you might when it comes to making a living with healing work, and I'm just gonna say this straight up because I don't like to lie. And I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm saying if you are not connected, if your soul isn't telling you to do this, you're not going to have the chops to set up a healing practice and get paid for it if your soul isn't guiding you. You're just not going to have it. Getting your work into the world is not the same as depending on all your bills being paid for it. Two different worlds, everybody. Two different worlds. Two different things. One can grow from the other, absolutely, but you got to put the time in. You have to put the time in. It is an illusion, a huge illusion that if you're supposed to do healing work, everything will be provided. It's just not true. It's not true. And I know that because I've experienced that. When your soul is called, the right steps will happen, but you need to do the work because it's not all going to be done for you. And if your soul isn't calling you, you're not going to be invested in helping other people, paid or unpaid. You're not going to be invested if your soul isn't calling you. Hey there, Laura. Thanks for joining us. So while I'm telling you the truth, I just want to say that if you are called to a healing path, you're going to be tested. All healers and healing arts practitioners, energy workers, whoever walks that path is tested. Healing does not happen. It does not happen in a warm, cozy box. And neither does the growth that comes from helping other people to heal. If you're going to help others, you need to expect to receive help and be willing to be messy. It's just the way that it is. So, are you still with me, everybody? Give me a little emoji. Let me know. You're with me? All right. I'm going to read a comment here before I move on to the next piece. Someone says, when I started doing Reiki, I loved doing it, but I didn't understand there was a difference until I found something that set me on fire. And I noticed the difference that my soul's so passionate about. That's exactly it. That's it, Lori. When your soul feels it and they're on fire about it. You got it. Thank you for writing that. So if you're still with me, I want you to pay close attention. Get something to write on. Get a pencil and a pen. Because if your soul's calling you to help others, I'm going to give you 5 concrete steps for taking your work in the world. And I want you to take notes. So get a pen. Okay. First, write down what it is that you want. Write down what your life could look like when you're helping others. Just write it down. You don't have to write it down now. I'm just telling you this is the first step. Write down what your life could look like when you're helping others, and then sit with it daily. Sit with it every day, because you have to make space for what you want. You can't just have this sort of idea out in the ethers and wait for it to fully manifest. You have to engage with it. So write down what you really want, what it could look like, and sit with it daily. And that creates energy, moves energy back and forth between you and where you want to be. Second step is getting in touch with your why. Getting in touch with why you want to help other people, and getting like really down in there with the why. Because if you're not in touch with your why, you're not going to be able to build a healing practice. One of the first things I do when I talk with people who are interested in taking their work in the world is I find out why, and I keep asking why, and they get annoyed at me because I ask why, but underneath the why is the gold. And when you get in touch with the gold, that helps you to know what you need to do to take the work into the world. So getting in touch with the why. Third piece is know how you are when your resistance and your obstacles come up. Because they will. That's just how it is. Your resistance, obstacles, things that you're gonna need to work through, we're gonna get in your way. So be willing to get familiar with them so that they don't hold you back, so you can recognize them and keep moving. And find some accountability. You'll sit and do nothing. If there's no motivation. So find some accountability. As a matter of fact, get a mentor, a coach, a therapist, somebody to help you with blocks. That's one thing that I have learned that I wish somebody would have told me, but nobody really tells you these things. 10 years ago, it would have been get somebody to guide you. You're A-okay with the healing work. You need a little more confidence, but you're A-okay with what you do. It's actually learning how to talk about what you do. And learning how to keep moving forward is what you really need help with, Bridge. If somebody would have told me that, oh my God, it would have changed everything. So I'm telling you what nobody told me. The universe doesn't just bring it all on. You have to find some help. Get a mentor, get a coach, get somebody to help you and hold you accountable so you can keep moving forward. So that's the third step. Fourth step in getting your work into the world is to learn a reliable practice that's going to connect you with spirit and do the practice. Do the practice on a regular basis. It can be meditation. It can be spirit journaling. It can be creative visualization. It can be shamanic journeying. Have a practice that connects you with spirit so spirit guides you all the way. I now teach practices, including shamanic journeying, to all of my clients because it works. When you want to get your work in the world and you can have spirit help you guide it, it's a great match. I have a really great balance between spirituality and energy, and practicality, and I bring them together. So that's 4. 5. The fifth concrete step that you can do to take your work in the world is if you have a modality that you offer or practice that you offer, you need to be doing it with people. That brings more through. And so I'm going to suggest to you, and if we worked one-on-one together, I'd be suggesting more than this, but this is a place to start. Offer 4 free sessions to somebody. Have them commit to 4. If you're already getting paid for your work, then negotiate something so that you can do a sliding scale or whatever you need to do to get them to commit to at least 4 sessions. Have those 4 sessions, have them with more than one person. Take notes, ask questions, see how they feel before and after, log the changes. Practice becoming a guide. Practice using your modality or whatever it is that you do within the context of 4 sessions. More if you're able, actually, but 4 is good. It's going to give you confidence to keep going, and it's going to give you a framework to start with, and then you can begin talking about it, and it all builds from there. You need some experience. You need experience before you can even think about charging money for what you do. You just do, and this is a great way to do it. So, recap here. I've covered a lot. I usually like to power pack these things, right? So, we talked about reasons you shouldn't be helping others. A couple of them were if you're drained all the time, you can't manage your own energy and get grounded, if you have to constantly try to fix someone else and give them suggestions, if you are obsessed with interpreting other people's signs for them, all of those are reasons. Or if you have a strong, heavy addiction, all of those are reasons that you should not be working with other people. The number one reason that you should not be working with other people or helping other people is if your soul does not feel the call to do it. That's the number one reason. Because you won't be able to follow through with anything if your soul isn't pulling you. When your soul pulls you, you take action. Okay, those are the reasons why you shouldn't be working with other people, and the number one reason why you shouldn't. 5 concrete steps for taking your work into the world. And you can go back and write them down if you lost any of these or weren't paying attention. 1, write down what you want, what it looks like to be working with other people and helping other people. Number 2, get in touch with your why. Get deep down in there as to why you want to do it, because that's going to keep you motivated. 3, know how you are when your resistance comes up. Expect resistance to come up, and find accountability. Get a teacher, a mentor, a coach, somebody to help you with the blocks. 4, learn a reliable practice to connect you with spirit. So spirit is guiding. We want a balance of spirit and action, right? And the 5th concrete step is if you have a modality that you're already using or a practice that you do that helps people, make it so that you work with people for a minimum of 4 sessions and take notes, because that's going to help to begin to create confidence, and it's going to create a process for you. And when you have a process, you're good. So, yeah, it's a lot. But now you have a better sense of what you need to do. You have a better sense of if you shouldn't be working with other people or helping other people, and you can start to take action, right? You can start to take action. So I mentioned earlier a healing catalyst that I have for you. I'm going to share that with you, and then I'm going to open it up to questions, okay? So as I mentioned in part 1, I received an invitation from Spirit a long time ago. I was young. I met my teachers about 20 years ago, and I've been saying yes ever since. Sometimes with hesitation and reluctance, but I've been saying yes. It's actually impossible for me to say no because my soul calls me, like I talked about earlier. But there was a time where I did not trust myself. You wouldn't believe it by looking at me now. But what we have on the outside is not always what we've always been on the inside. So I didn't always trust myself. And I wasn't sure how I could possibly hold a candle to the other healers in my sphere. I wasn't sure how I could do that. I knew I wanted to help, but I shied away from claiming who I am. But those times are over. Those times are way over. And if this is you, if you find yourself in this place, you don't have to be. You don't have to be hiding behind yourself and not claiming who you are. I went through a process to get here. It didn't happen overnight, and I worked my butt off to be able to claim who I am. And if I knew then all that I know now, it would have saved me like 8 or 10 years. Truly, truly would have saved me 8 or 10 years. I learned how to talk about what I do. I learned how to find people who need my work. And I learned how to work effectively with clients. It's now all I do is work with students and clients. And I'm ready to show you how to do it. Now, I can say that all of the learning and all of the workshops and all the things that I had to do to get my work in the world were all part of the journey. Sure, I can say that. But it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to take as long as it took me. When you invest in yourself and you are willing to bring in someone to guide you, you're going to be more confident in your healing work. And so my clients are starting healing practices based on what I teach them. And that's because I keep it real. I make a fire for them. I stoke the fire that's inside of them because my fire is lit. And we tap into spirit and we take action. And so if you're waiting, for the universe to do it for you, you're going to keep waiting. If you're waiting for the universe to give you a sign on how to make it happen, this is your sign right here. I've created something that will end the old story and help you begin a new one. I'll take you through a process where you'll go from not reaching anyone or reaching the very few people with your work to understanding exactly what you need to do to successfully reach people and get paid for it. You'll learn shamanic practices to connect you with your team of help so you know what to do and you're guided by spirit. You'll create a clear vision for your work in the world and a format for how to talk about your work and practical steps so that you can create your own plan for working with clients. Fire Starters is a 6-week online program that starts at the end of January. I'm super excited about this. In Fire Starters, you'll get 6 live modules that teach you how to take your work in the world. Most of these trainings are recorded. I'm doing this live. I'm going to be live with you the whole time. You're going to get step-by-step instructions on how to create a healing practice and clear instructions for growing an existing practice, as well as tools to get rid of that self-doubt and that fear that holds you back. So this is for healers and helpers who are ready to fire up their practices. If that's you, this is for you. I'm only accepting 10 people into this program so I can give you my full attention. Right now, I've got 7 spaces left. So this starts at the end of the month, and the full investment is $9.97. But for the next week, it's going to be half that. It's going to be $4.97. And you can even break that into 2 payments if you'd like. So if you're tired of wondering why you're not helping more people, if you're ready to get paid for what you love to do, you want to know exactly what you need to do that, enroll in Fire Starters, and I'll show you how. All right, so that's my excitement, the healing catalyst that I'm offering. I'll drop the link below and you can message me, tag me in a question if you want more information. So part 2 of a call to service. We covered a lot, and I want to drop into answering questions around anything I covered. Reasons you should be helping people, reasons you shouldn't, the call from your soul, anything to help people, anything you want to ask me, I'm here for. I'm going to wait a couple minutes to see what's popping up in the chat box. You know, I had someone yesterday on the part 1 training ask if you have to be fully healed to help someone else. And that's an interesting question. I mean, it makes me think, is anyone ever fully healed? If everyone was fully healed, if they waited till they were fully healed to take action, a lot of us wouldn't be doing our work. You don't need to be fully healed. You need to be in process. You need to be in some of the places that I talked about yesterday. And you need to be committed to helping yourself and not keeping your blinders on. That's what you need, but you don't need to be fully healed in order to help other people. When you are too far from where your clients and your people are, you can't relate to them and then how can you help them if you can't relate to them? All right, any other questions that are popping up? All right, I thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to hop back in the box for questions. Tag me if you have a question that's gone unanswered so that I can see it. I will drop a link below for the Fire Starters program. And if you are interested, I can't wait to see you there. All right, have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.